What up, your boy MC Shadow? This is the last of it on Fontana. Don't know if I'm gonna do Orange County, San Diego, or the 805. Leave it in the comments which side you guys want me to do. And which whoever says the most of that side, it's the side that I'll do. But this is the last of it on the IE. I gotta leave the IE. So here's starting off in Fontana. So starting off with.
You are now watching M.O.D. Entertainment. Make sure you subscribe and check out the playlist.
I grew up hearing gunshots in the late night. Ghetto bird, police sirens as a mother cries. Just another victim of the Soundbrown genocide. Locals posted, locked and loaded, ready to take lives. And when they heard the chieflet, they would duck up out of sight. Light your car when the sun down, it was mission time. You had to stay alert, cause bullets always travel blind. We stayed posted, we stayed drinking and we getting high. Marchando down the enemy's neighborhood as we ride. Put the hood, put the glica sample, fuck their side. No regrets, but the truth is no peace of mind.
G-File.
Now here's one of the roughly bigger neighborhoods out of the south side of Fontana. There used to be a tank crew, which is TFK, which stands for the Fontana Kings. So Fontana Kings is the ones that you hear about. There used to be a tagging crew, like I said, in the mid-90s. So they're roughly a new neighborhood. They haven't been around that long, but even though they haven't been around that long, and they were just a tagging crew before, they put in work, man. They went to business. It's one of the neighborhoods that you definitely hear the most out of this part of Fontana, and you know what I mean. They be right there doing their thing. You can find them right there on Merle and on Fernwood is where their neighborhood's at. Going at it, with everybody right there. Hey, they got a stronghold on the neighborhood, and you know what I mean? They ain't no chumps, ain't no pushovers. They definitely right there, and they definitely be doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie Sicko from the Fontana Kings, and yeah, shout out to the homies from Fontana Kings that be doing their thing. Here you have the Latin Kings. Now, the Latin Kings are right here on South Ridge as well. Like I said, this is an area where a lot of neighborhoods are at, due to, being affordable, you know what I mean? Just created a whole lot of different neighborhoods, all just like jam-packed right there. The more neighborhoods that are jam-packed in an area, the more beef that there's going to be. You find them right there in Arrow and Sierra. It's where they're located at, you know what I mean? Not that deep, but nonetheless, they be doing their thing. I've only been there since the 2000s. You know what I mean? So they're roughly new to the area. You know what I'm saying? And yes, they are the same ones as the rest of the. They are the same ones as the rest of the Latin Kings. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what's up with the Latin Kings, and they're right here representing and holding it down. Now here you have the Headhunters. Now the Headhunters are definitely right here in Fontana. Been here since the 90s. They're actually pretty deep out here in Fontana. Right here in South Ridge is where you can find them. They're right there on Merrill and Hemlock. Right here in South Ridge is where you can find them. By the park as well is where you'll find them, posted, chilling, kicking it. Like I said, man, they're pretty deep out here, and going at it with all the Fontana neighborhoods. Like definitely tensions between them. But nonetheless, man, Headhunters right here holding it down and representing for their neighborhood, you know what I mean? Now here on the east of Fontana, you have CWP Fontana, which stands for Chicanos with Pride, is the name of this neighborhood. They're right there in Valencia and Williams. They're pretty large, and they got a pretty large size and territory. You definitely hear about them, and they definitely be doing their thing right there, representing for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like I said, they're the neighborhood, the only neighborhood out here, like away from like everybody else, and I think that's why they're large in numbers, and and stuff like that. But yeah, that's what's up with CWP, and they definitely be right here holding it down for Fontana. You know what I mean? Now here you have Westside Fontana, which is the Diablos Gang. They used to be a tagging crew before in the mid-90s, so they're roughly new to the neighborhood scene. You know what I mean? Beefing it heavily with like Headhunters and like South Fontana, and like people like that, hard times. You know what I mean? But yeah, they definitely right there holding it down for their neighborhood. You know, they're not that they're not that deep, but they are with it, man. They do put in their work. You do hear about them, and you know, and they be right there holding it down and representing for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Now he's one of the largest ones in South Fontana. It's the Hood Locals, THL. You know what I mean? They're right there on Slover Street. You know, they've been right here since the 90s. You know, they're roughly a big neighborhood. You definitely hear about them. They definitely be, you know, like, you know, kicking it up out there. You know what I mean? South Fontana is the largest ones out of all the areas in Fontana. You know what I mean? Seem to be well established with each other. Is different. Is one of those things where it's a different neighborhood. But they claim the same thing. They claim South Fontana, but you have like the Hood Locals, or you have the Chingones, and all of that. You know what I mean? But it's the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? But they're like cliques, but individual gangs is how they run their program, kind of like Verdugo and Coachella. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, the Hood Locals is definitely active, and they you know, they definitely, you know, be right there representing for their neighbor. You know what I mean? Now, here you have the Headhunters. Now, the Headhunters are definitely right here in Fontana. Been here since the 90s. They're actually pretty deep out here in Fontana. Right here in Southridge is where you can find them. They're right there on Merrill and Hemlock. Right here in Southridge is where you can find them. By the park as well is where you'll find them, you know, posted, chilling, kicking it. You know, like I said, man, they're pretty deep out here, and going at it with all the Fontana neighborhoods. You know, like, definitely tensions between them. But nonetheless, man, Headhunters right here holding it down and representing for their neighborhood. You know what I mean? Yeah, South Fontana Chingones. Now, they're one of the largest ones as well, right here in South Fontana. Definitely going at it with the surrounding neighborhoods. Been right here since the 90s. You know what I mean? One of the active sets out of Fontana, and they definitely be kicking up dust. You definitely hear about them. They ain't no chumps. They ain't no pushovers. You know, you hear about them doing their thing. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's what's up with Fontana Chingones right there. Definitely representing for the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Now, here you have the neighborhood locals. Fontana neighborhood locals. Now, they're right here located on Valencia and Dorsey is where you can find their neighborhood. You know, they're pretty large. You know, have been around since the 90s. And yeah, man, they you know, they do their thing, man. You definitely hear about them, and you know, they definitely be right there holding it down for the neighborhood. You know what I mean? You know, that's what the NHL stands for. Or you'll see the F sometimes in front of it. It's the neighborhood locals, and yeah, that's what's up with the neighborhood locals right there representing and doing their thing. And here you have North Fontana Locals. Now, North Fontana Locals is roughly small. They're right here on Miller and Sierra is where their neighborhood's at. You know what I mean? Not to be confused with Neighborhood Fellas or No Fucking Limit. You know what I mean? It's not the same as that gang. It's two different gangs. You know what I mean? But this is North Fontana Locals, and they're roughly new, you know, been around since the late 90s, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, man, you know, they average in size, and, you know, they be right here holding it down for you. Then, you know, their neighborhood, the North of Fontana, you know, and definitely hear about them doing their stuff, and yeah, that's what they be at right there. All right, here you have La Colonia Rifa. Now, La Colonia is a neighborhood that's right here in the IE. Was known as Harlem Springs. So by that, you know, by that area is their territory. You know what I mean? Close to the Springer Memorial Park. They've been there for since the 90s. Roughly a large neighborhood. They got a pretty large size in turf by Cypress, 9th Street, Baseline, Victoria. You know, so that's where their neighborhood's at, and yeah, La Colonia is right there representing and doing their thing right there in the IE, you know what I mean? Now here's another neighborhood. It's called the IE family. Now I can't confirm if it's a neighborhood, but that's what they write. So it's one of those things where I can't confirm if it's a neighborhood, but it's IE family. That's what they put. And then there's another one that's IE Writers. Couldn't get no info on them. All I know is that they're by Casablanca's neighborhood. But that's all, couldn't get no intel on them. But yeah, here's the IE family, and that's what they write, 1-3.